This one is by Discipline. It's called Squadron 42 is Killing Star Citizen. So let's
It's
take
a
a look at
little-known
that.
body
Oh my
transformation
goodness.
secret.
I need to find a better ad blocker.
Here, yet another controversial title, but this needed to be said. Squadron 42 is killing Star Citizen. For those of you who are new to the Star Citizen scene or community, Squadron 42 is the single-player campaign version of Star Citizen. The PU and the campaign are currently being developed at the same time, but the talent pool is split with more people working on Squadron 42. So
I'd like to pose this question to the folks that are in chat. Did you pledge for Star Citizen in the persistent universe, or did you pledge for Squadron 42, or did you pledge for both? I'd like to know. I did not pledge for Squadron 42. I pledged for Star Citizen in the persistent universe. I didn't even know Squadron 42 was a thing until several months into my Star Citizen experience. It's not something I'm probably going to buy, but you know, maybe. I don't know. It's out of the pledge store right now, so you know, we'll see what happens. I mean, I really don't have an interest in it outside of if you beat it, yeah, I guess you get the F8 Lightning for beating it, I guess. I don't know. If that changes, I won't get it. But if I need to get it just to get the F8 Lightning, then I'll get the F8 Lightning, or get Squadron 42 so I can get the F8 Lightning.
as a result of this focus on Squadron 42, the
You pledged for
playable
Diablo 4.
universe is
I'm glad you
suffering.
like it. I'm not a
Instead
fan.
of time being spent building out the PU and creating systems for thousands of players to fly around and interact, CIG is dedicating its time to building a scripted single-player universe. Now, the counter argument to this is that a lot of the tech developed in Squadron 42 can be ported over to Star Citizen, but there are single-player elements that are distinct to campaigns that need work by devs, and instead of that work being spent in the PU, it's being spent on this single-player experience. Does a single-player universe sound fun? Yes,
No.
but is that what the vast majority of people who bought Star Citizen really want?
I think it was like
don't
35,
think so.
45
when
bucks.
I hear space sim with different systems, pirates, organizations, I imagine people exploring these systems, pirating.
So one of my hangups with yeah, that's probably true, Grumpy. One of my hangups right now is, to me, it really feels like the devs are making all these new what's going to be in-game systems for Star Citizen. And when I say systems, I don't mean star systems. I mean engine systems, game systems, the things that we're going to use to play within the Star Citizen universe. And when they're developing it in a single-player vacuum, it doesn't allow us playing the persistent universe to get our hands on it and essentially break it for them so they can figure out what's wrong with it, or what needs to be polished on it, or what needs to be tweaked on it. And things like master mode, which is, from what I've understood, is being solely developed for the single player version of this, is going to come out to us, and it's going to be in its final form. I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know of all the other systems that they're currently working on for Squadron 42 that's going to end up being brought over to Star Citizen, but I would prefer if they got that stuff developed and then out to the public so that, you know, we can either break it or impregnate it. I don't know. Like, we have to, I think the players do a better job of breaking their systems than, or poking holes in it, than the devs do in their little testing vacuum that they have. That's what I would like to see. I would also like to see less people working on Squadron 42 and more people working on Star Citizen. My opinion is that most of us did not back for Squadron 42. We backed for Star Citizen and the MMO version of all of this. And then secondly, I feel that if CIG is going to push the persistent universe as basically a live service game, that it needs to be treated as such, even though it's an alpha. If they're going to treat it like a live service game, they're going to promote it like a live service game, then they need to put the time and effort into it because they're promoting it as a live service game. You know, maybe I'm misspeaking here, but that's just how I feel about the situation. I feel like we're kind of being treated as the redheaded stepchild right now with Squadron 42 going on, because all the money, all the devs, and all the work is going into that side of it. And I mean, Star Citizen kind of speaks for itself right now with the problems that it has. 318 was terrible. 318.1 was terrible. 318.2 is terrible. The beginnings of 319 have been terrible. Now we got a 319.1 coming out. Sometimes I wish they would just take a step back and allow these patches to come out a little bit more polished, so that way they don't have to put in all this work to put in a 0.1 to fix the things that they broke when they put out 319.0 or 318.0. But, you know, I don't know about game development, and it's an alpha.
Creating, organizing. Single-player games are great, and some of the greatest games of all time are single-player games.
He's
but
not
what
wrong.
was pitched in the Kickstarter in
Red Dead
2012
Redemption 2,
was the greatest
some of the Batman
experience
games
of all time. And unfortunately, this multiplayer experience
some of the
is
Legend
being
of Zelda games, God of War,
installed by Squadron 42. I understand that it's Chris Roberts' dream to have the full vision of his Wing Commander games manifested in a modern single-player game. But the consequence of this obsession is that us players get stuck in one janky system for 10 years. I have explored every nook and cranny of Stanton and I'm bored. Additionally, CIG sells ships that are meant to be flown in the playable universe, not Squadron 42. How does it make sense to make your player base buy ships for one game and then use that money to fund a completely separate game?
See, that's where I have a very, I guess, a volatile opinion compared, like what people would tell me, because I don't like the fact that we are putting all of this money out, not me, but other people are putting all this money in to buy ships for Star Citizen, and all of that money is going to develop Squadron 42. I don't like it. I think it's kind of disingenuous, I think would be the word to use, but I don't like it, and I know there's a lot of other people out there that don't like it and share kind of the same opinion. Interesting, Pops. Interesting, Pops.
If CIG had dedicated its talent exclusively to the PU, we would likely have several different systems by now. A far more playable PU, and a game that doesn't feel like it's a demo after you played it for more than a week.
He says more playable systems, but
better allocate its talent.
I hope he means in-game systems and not solar
feature
systems.
Creep in pixel sales. They know that we're bored. That's why they reshade Lorville instead of doing a substantial bug fix. That's why they continue selling us these pixel ships. That's why we feel mandated to fly, because we just spent $200 on them. They've designed systems that make us come back for the minimum cost, while they continue to allocate dev talent to Squadron 42. They know the PU sucks, and to keep it interesting, they add these superfluous features. What the players want is substance.
We want depth.
CIG knowingly refuses just so that Chris Roberts can
We want
fly
stability
around by himself in Squadron 42. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. I'm going to try and post as many times as I can during the week. I have a lot more free time now, so post in the comments what you'd like to see, and always.
I think that was a good video. It gives us some good talking points. I'll share that with you guys too, so you can go check him out. Hit that like button as well. I think he's got some pretty good talking points in there. I am kind of getting, as Mason said, I'm kind of getting told that this is an alpha, but yet it's treated, it's promoted, and it's being packaged up as a live service game, but we kind of get told it's an alpha when things don't work. Well, it's just an alpha. We have to treat it as such. We're testers. We're not players. We're testers. I think that's kind of, once again, I think the word is disingenuous or dishonest. I don't like being told that when I see that there's a problem with the game and I get told, well, you kind of have to deal with it because it's an alpha. I think sometimes they know that there's a problem with it and it just is allowed to get through anyways, mostly because, and I might be speaking out of place, but I think marketing holds a majority of the power there at CIG. I'm starting to wonder if even Chris Roberts holds that much power there anymore. Marketing seems to kind of pull the strings. I think the devs should be telling marketing, hey, we're not ready for this to come out, or hey, this patch is not yet where we want it to be yet. We should delay it. But I feel that marketing has to keep those dollars rolling in. I understand they have to keep the dollars rolling in because the developers have to be paid and whatnot. But as I said, I still find it a little kind of like a kick in the nuts every time I see that. And we have to be, we're putting in money and it's going to Squadron 42. Devs that could be working on things like, I don't know, pick an issue that's bothering you with Star Citizen, and I'm sure more devs and more hands could be brought on deck to help with that situation instead of, hey, look, guys, we created the new Fury. Hey, look, guys, the Lynx that's been sitting in the backlog for 9 years is done. Hey, guys, the Storm's coming out now. You know, another tank that you don't have anything to use with unless it's Jumptown or Ghost Hollow. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just a crazy old gamer ranting along about a game I love.